Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Mike Roussel, and welcome to this installment of Ask Dr. Mike. And in this video, we're going to answer the question, what's the difference between regular blueberries and wild blueberries? And so here I have some wild blueberries from Maine, and I think one of the specific differences about wild versus regular blueberries is where they're harvested. So wild blueberries are primarily harvested in areas kind of colder, more barren areas like Maine and also up in Canada, and they're much smaller than regular blueberries. Their antioxidant power is a lot better as well in that they have twice the antioxidants as regular blueberries. So you often hear about blueberries being talked about as a superfood. So wild blueberries are like a superfood. And they're smaller and darker, and that darker color is a reflection of their more antioxidant capacity. So what we're going to do is go over to the whiteboard, and we're going to look at a couple of the other differences between regular and wild blueberries, and then some pretty interesting research in 4 different areas. I'm sure you've heard a lot of things about the beneficial effects of antioxidants in wild blueberries or regular blueberries, but we're going to look specifically at some research with wild blueberries and some areas that you may not be familiar with. You probably didn't even know that you get benefit from eating wild blueberries. So let's go over to the whiteboard and talk about some of these things. Alright, so here we are at the whiteboard. So let's review a couple of those differences again. So when we're talking about wild blueberries, we're talking about twice the antioxidant content. Now I think this is really beneficial from a practical standpoint, because let's say you want to reap the full benefits of these antioxidants in blueberries. Normal blueberries, you'd have to say, for example, have 2 cups a day. But when we're looking at twice the antioxidant content, we can get down to 1 cup a day, so it fits maybe better in a calorie-controlled diet. You still get that double the antioxidant capacity, but for a smaller caloric punch, which we're always trying to get the biggest bang for our caloric buck. So we have twice the antioxidant content, so they're smaller in size, and also their flavor and intensity is a lot greater. And if you've ever been out just picking, wild blueberries, going hiking and picking blueberries, you'll notice that they are much smaller, but they do have that great intense flavor. And the dose that I usually do, or what I try to do every day, is about 1 cup a day of wild blueberries. There's just a handful of foods like kefir, foods like wild blueberries, green tea, a couple different things, eggs, that I try to make sure that I eat every single day. And so for me, 1 cup of wild blueberries every morning is part of my routine. So what is some of the interesting research about wild blueberries? So 4 key areas that I want to touch on today, and the first one is heart health. So, and all of these things are really driven by the antioxidants that are found in wild blueberries. So in heart health, there's a whole, because of the high antioxidants, there are lots of different mechanisms and effects that can happen. But what I think the ones that are kind of the most interesting is some studies show a decrease in blood pressure. So they were taking, it was a blueberry powder that was made from frozen blueberries, giving you and it yielded a decrease in blood pressure. So blood pressure being, called the silent killer, is something that we really need to work on controlling. Most people don't know about it. It increases as you get older, so this is a great thing. But the key, and we'll talk about this for all of them, and this really has to do with any food or any supplement, it's consistency. And so, having these wild blueberries every day is really the key. The other thing, there's some animal research showing it decreases in cholesterol, and then also in protection against strokes. So kind of the damages of strokes, what would happen. And that's, again, due to that high antioxidant content. So the next one, when we look at cardiometabolic health, so this is really not just heart disease, but looking at more diabetes. And I like cardiometabolic health is good because it kind of takes diabetes and cardiovascular disease and brings them together, which is really kind of the problem that we're now having with more people is kind of the merging of these 2 conditions. But in people with diabetes, 1 or 2 cups per day, it was given again in a powder. I think usually just in research it's just easier from a convenience standpoint. Given in a freeze-dried powder led to improvements in insulin sensitivity. And again, this has to do with those high antioxidants. So we get improvements in insulin sensitivity, decreases in blood pressure, potentially improvements in our blood cholesterol profile as well. So memory, probably blueberries are the most famous for their impacts on brain function, again because of that high antioxidant content. Now I thought was one of the more interesting studies, that with wild blueberries, looking at older individuals who were already cognitively impaired, that daily consumption of wild blueberries actually led to improvements over 12 weeks in their ability to remember things. So when they were tested at the beginning of the end of the study, they had greater improvements in their memory at the end after the daily consumption of wild blueberries. So this shows that even, if you're older and your cognition's already started to decline, that the use of wild blueberries kind of as a daily nutraceutical almost can help maintain memory and maintain brain function. So then the last piece, and this is one that most people don't realize, has to do with your gut or your digestive health. So one of the antioxidants, so these blueberries are rich with polyphenols and anthocyanins. And one of the things that when we think about antioxidants that we never really consider is that they're actually poorly absorbed in our digestive tract, right? So all the antioxidants you're eating aren't getting into your system. They don't get digested. But despite the fact that they have poor absorption, it's not as all lost here, because what happens is those anthocyanins are actually end up being food for the bacteria in our guts, and specifically the good bacteria. So you can almost think of anthocyanins and these antioxidants in wild blueberries as prebiotics. So prebiotics are fibers like inulin, right, which is often put now in yogurt and protein bars and different things. These are undigestible fibers that feed preferentially the good bacteria in our digestive tract to kind of foster their growth, and that improves your overall digestive health. And these good bacteria can actually have implications for your immune function and also the release of certain hormones that regulate metabolism and fat loss. It's pretty amazing to think that the bacteria in your gut can actually impact hormones that regulate your metabolism in your body, but they can. So just like prebiotics like inulin preferentially feed those good bacteria, these anthocyanins in wild blueberries also feed that good bacteria. So even if your body's not digesting, just as the natural process it does with any of these antioxidants, any anthocyanins from any source, that it doesn't digest them all, the bacteria in your gut are going to take advantage of that. It's going to feed those good bacteria, and it's still going to go on to foster better health, better digestive health, and kind of better overall health. So it's a nice, from an efficiency standpoint, you get what you get from an absorption standpoint, but then you also, what you don't absorb, the bacteria in your gut picks up, and then they use it to help you get healthier overall as well. So some really interesting things, I think, when we look at heart health, memory, gut health, and also cardiometabolic health with wild blueberries. And so again, when you're looking at them, it's double the antioxidant content. They're smaller in size. They're more intense in flavor. So if you've been eating regular blueberries, I think go like I did and you switch to the wild blueberries, you get a greater antioxidant punch, and there's a lot of really cool science behind it and a lot of great health benefits that you can reap from it. So that's going to wrap it up for this installment of Ask Dr. Mike, looking at what's the difference between conventional blueberries and wild blueberries, and what are some of the benefits of wild blueberries. So if you have any questions, you can just post them below this video, and make sure you come back for more videos. Thanks a lot.